Today's practice will be working a little bit more around strengthening. Focus is on strengthening. We'll be doing abs, back, lateral, and also leg strengthening. Remember, when we're doing strength poses, to be careful not to hold the breath. I'm always making sure that we're breathing through constantly. It's a little different than if you do CrossFit or some weightlifting. In yoga, we always want to just stay breathing, comfortably neutral in our breath. So in this practice today, I'm not necessarily going to be saying breathe here, breathe out, breathe in. I'm just going to constantly remind you to make sure that the breath is flowing and feels comfortable and natural. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Coming onto your back and making sure you're in a comfortable spot. Looking for the center of your mat. If you're on a mat, if you don't have one, that's fine. Just finding the center of the pelvis, a little lightness in the back of the waist. Shoulder blades are a nice wide swath across the upper back. So we're making sure that the shoulder blades aren't high up the spine. We want to press them downward together. So we're not squeezing them in, we're pushing them down. And then making sure you're on the very center of the back of your head. And just to get a little breathing going on here, let's just take an inhale as you just let the arms kind of float overhead. And as you exhale, bringing them back, you can rest them on your belly or your thighs. And then again, inhale, just easy breath. Exhaling right back again into that spot. Just finding out what is your breath today. Are you breathing in deeper, longer than you're exhaling? And if you are, making a really conscious effort to let the breath be equal. Exhale and inhale the same length. Maybe even letting that exhale get a tiny bit longer. Just an intuitive feel. And the next time you start to bring your arms down towards your legs, draw your knees to meet halfway. And then exhale, arms overhead, feet back down to the ground. And then exhale, bringing everything together. And inhale, everything back. Overhead and to the floor. Exhale, hands and knees meet. And this time we'll stay there. Hands holding the knees. And as you inhale, let the knees move away. As you exhale, pulling them towards you. Just want to make sure the elbows don't flare out. You want to really hold the elbows close into your ribs. And exhale as you bring the knees in, ribs to and elbows together. Again, exhaling. Next time your knees are in, we'll get just a little easy rock. Center the back, a little massage here from side to side. Not rolling over side to side, just going from one muscle group along the spine to the opposite, on the left side to the right side. Just easy breathing. Next time you find yourself right in the middle, let's go ahead and take the feet up. You can hold on to the backs of the legs. Let your ankles wiggle around a little bit. Point flex, maybe spread the toes apart, squeeze them together a few times, little toe fists. And then go ahead and release. We'll take both feet down to the floor and letting both legs go all the way down the mat, just looking for a full body stretch here, big reach. And then drawing both knees back in, take foot to ceiling, press through the ball of the foot instead of the heel. Pushing through the ball of the foot, and then tuck the knee in. Take the knee out leg about halfway, and same thing again. Just push through the ball of the foot, and knee bends. Letting the knee drop as far down as you can without taking the back of the left pelvis off the floor. And one more time, go ahead and straighten out. Reach through the ball of the foot, and bend the knee. Breathe. Just keep breathing. That halfway, send the leg out. Bring it back in, and then straight up again, straight up, Bring it back in. We'll do that whole thing one more time. Halfway out, leg goes out, and bring it back in. And then as far as you can, take the leg out. And this time we'll hold here and find some point and flex. Leg is out to the side, left knee hasn't dropped out. Kneecap pointed to the ceiling. Back of the left pelvis is squeezing into the floor. Whole flexion, sole of the foot, point it away. And then go ahead and let that foot come all the way back up to the ceiling. Hold flexion. So we're feeling it in the back of the leg. Just breathe here. And then go ahead and tuck your knee in. Give it a little squeeze. And release that foot back down to the ground. Straighten out your shoulders, hips, anything that needs to be fixed. And then we'll do the other side. Taking that foot up, reaching through the ball of the foot rather than the heel. Reach through the ball of the foot. Tuck the knee in, take it out halfway, extend the leg. Back of the right pelvis grounded. Tuck the foot in, take it out even further, and extend the leg. Back of the right pelvis to the floor. Tuck it in, halfway. Extend the leg, breathe. Check to see how often you hold your breath. Take the foot up, ball of the foot. Tuck it in, out halfway. Out, extend, retuck. And this time taking it as far to the side as you can. Extend the leg, and this time flex the ankle, pulling the toes towards you. Check the right knee. Did it go out to the side? Make sure the kneecap points to the ceiling. Back of the right pelvis grounded. Feeling the waist get activated. One more breath. And then closing that left foot back up to the ceiling. Leg stays extended. Toes pulling towards you. If your knees bend, try to keep that foot over your hip rather than letting it drift way down. Then we'll go ahead and tuck the knee in. And release foot to floor. Let's walk both legs down the mat. We'll look for a full body stretch, taking the arms overhead. Interlace your fingers, push through the palms of the hands, really reaching through. And we'll go ahead and release, letting your arms open out to a T. And walk your feet a little bit more than hip distance apart. So if you look down, you can see the outsides of your heels, arms are to a T. It's just a wide-footed, wide stance bridge here. As we press up, keeping the feet apart, making sure we haven't rocked the knees out. Find the arch side of the foot and coming down about halfway. And again, pressing up as high as you can and come down about halfway. We'll do this 3 more times. Breathe up, come down halfway. Again, breathing, coming down. Breathing, coming down. And this time we'll lift up, press the feet into the floor. We'll hold for 5 breaths. Making sure the arch side of the foot stays grounded rather than the pinky side. Holding the knees over the ankles. Pulling the rib cage towards the chin. Breathe. Maybe drop your gaze. Watch yourself breathe in your belly. More breath. Rolling up onto the balls of the feet. Lift the heels high. Balls of the feet on the floor, heels high. Keep pressing the hips up and hold. And as you continue to press the hips up, slowly lower the heels to the floor. Very slow. Slow. Still lowering. Still lowering, still lowering, still pressing the hips up. Hold and breathe. Look down at your belly. Watch yourself breathe. Resist that urge to hold the breath. One more breath. Arch side of the foot. And then slowly letting yourself down. Find every vertebrae on the way down. Especially that vertebrae in the center of the back, the middle of the back, the waist, all the way down through the pelvis. And we'll draw knees into chest or shoulders. You can let the knees open wide a little bit, or you can bring them in a little closer together. Get that little rock from side to side. It's going to give that middle of the back massage again. And then releasing, open the feet out again. This time we'll drop the right knee down towards the floor. And then back over to the other side. Left knee drops down. Taking your time. Keep breathing. Next time you find your knees in the middle, go ahead and let your feet walk a little bit closer together. And we'll find full body stretch again. Legs down the mat, arms overhead. This time left hand's going to grab the right wrist. And just pulling yourself a little offline, looking for a little bit of a side stretch here. Big breath, right ribs, right waist, right armpit. And then go ahead and let yourself release out of that. Straighten yourself out. We'll do the same thing other side. Right hand grabs left wrist, just pulling yourself a little bit offline and breathing into left waist, left ribs, left armpit. Keep pressing through the feet. And then go ahead and release, coming back to center, drawing knees into the chest. Just go up and down the back a time or two. And then drawing knees in, keep a little snuggle. And releasing both feet down to the floor. And go ahead and take your time, letting yourself roll over onto one side and coming up nice and slow. If you have knees that tend to be tender, go ahead and pull the blanket underneath. Mine are feeling pretty good today, so I'm just going to stay on the mat. We're looking for tabletop, middle finger straight ahead, tops of the shins are on the ground, tops of the feet are on the ground. And letting both toes curl, we'll just sink back, stretching through the soles of the feet. Take your time. Look to see if your heels drifted out to the side and keeping the heels underneath the seat bones. And we'll go ahead and come all the way up. Right shin plants to the floor, left foot's going to come out to the side, toes are straight ahead. And sinking back into that right heel, keep the outer edge of that left foot to the ground. And we'll go ahead and come back up. Let's do that 2 more times, just sitting back as far as you feel you can. Check to see if the outside edge came up and press it back down. We'll do that 1 more time. Coming all the way down as far as you can. This time turn the toes towards the ceiling, letting yourself sink as deeply as you can. And we'll go ahead and come all the way up. That left knee comes underneath. Regain table. And then we'll shift over to the other side. Right foot comes out, toes are pointed straight ahead. So not pointed outward, they're straight in the direction of the crown of your head. And letting yourself sit back, hold the pinky side to the floor. One side tends to be a little more flexible than the other. We'll do the same thing again. Sitting back, hold the pinky side to the ground. Strengthening that ankle, stretching outside. And 1 more time, coming down. This time we'll stay. Outside edge of that foot squeezing into the floor. And then turn the toes to the ceiling. Sink as low as you can. We'll go ahead and come all the way back up, finding that right shin back underneath you. Pressing through a little bit of a cat pose here, might feel good. Releasing back and into the little bit of a cow pose, letting the back arch. And then release, neutral table. And go ahead and just step yourself forward. One foot comes under you, then the other. Letting yourself stay in a forward fold so the head and heart stay lower than your hips. Finding hand to elbow here, pressing the forearms in towards the toes. And we'll go ahead and come all the way up. slow. So letting your, I'm going to move this blanket. So letting your feet come pretty wide apart, looking for a good distance. If you can, at least 3 feet, and play with that distance as we move through this. I'm going to turn the left toe slightly in, right toes are going to face, turn to the right. So you're kind of spinning on your heel and then placing the ball of the foot down. Notice if your hips turned with that, we're really trying to keep the hips as straight ahead as possible. As you send that right knee over the ankle, check to see if those right ribs follow the knee. We want to make sure that plumb line stays right down the center so I haven't come to the right side of my pelvis. I'm staying right in the very middle. And that we're in the center of the foot, the right foot. And just go ahead and let your arms kind of float out to a T. And then go ahead and come all the way back up. Just kind of finding our warrior 2 position from the hips down. Get a little forward fold here, letting your hands come down to the mat. You can bend your knees as much as you want. Coming up about halfway now. We're looking for a 90-degree turn in the hips. And then letting both arms reach forward. And then float back down, deep forward fold again. And coming all the way up. And we'll find our warrior 2 to the other side. A little tuck into that right foot helps the hip. Left toes turn, and letting yourself sink again. Watch to see if the left ribs follow the knee and really holding yourself upright. Nice strong spine. We have these channels that kind of move up and down the spine, and then on the other side we want to make sure those channels, whether you want to think of them as the nadis or you want to just think about the muscles of the spine really staying very erect, very straight up and down. And then finding the arms floating out again. We'll come all the way back up, toes turn in, finding that forward fold, letting yourself down as far as deeply as you feel like you want to go. Coming back up halfway. Think of pulling the belly button up to help stabilize your back. And then arms reach forward. And then floating all the way down again. We'll go ahead and bend the knees slightly, coming up. Wiggle your feet back in together, and then just stepping to the front of your mat. Taking a big reach overhead, you can interlace your fingers and push the palms up. If you prefer, you can always bring the arms out to a Joshua tree if you're really wanting to stay by working the back muscles. But if you really need that stretch, go ahead and take it. And then we'll take the left foot back, looking for our warrior 2. Take a few moments just to settle into your position, making sure the spine is straight, and we're breathing. And then letting your arms open out to a T, sinking down deeply. And we'll draw the elbow into the hip and let that right arm come overhead. Let's do that again, just reaching up. And draw right elbow in, take that left arm overhead. And go ahead and come all the way up. Let's go ahead and straighten the right leg now, and this time we're going to look for triangle pose. So that knee needs to bend just a tiny bit so we haven't locked the knee backwards. And as we start to slide down, using the right shin as your prop, or if some people can get to the floor, check to see if the rib cage, the front of the ribs, have turned to the floor. We're looking to make sure the rib cage is rotating. So these left ribs are really pulling, we're engaging through the obliques. Left fingertips reach up to the ceiling. Breathe, arch side of the foot is strong into the ground, and we'll go ahead and come all the way up. And let's turn the toes forward. Just take a little breath. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Warrior 2 first, keeping that spine straight. Arms open, bring that elbow in as the right arm comes over. Just gives us a little support here. Opening back up, and again. Opening back up. This time we'll find the triangle. Slight bend in the knee, rotating the rib cage so these right ribs pull in, and letting that right shoulder's very at ease. The ribs are doing the work. The shoulders have very little to do here. Nice. And we'll go ahead and come all the way up. Find that warrior 2 for just a second. Float and step to the front of the mat. And again, taking the arms overhead. If you really like to come into a stretch, you want to keep the energy in the back, you can find the Joshua Tree arms. Start moving through a little bit more into the strength. Letting the left foot step back, finding warrior two. Opening out, making sure the spine is strong. Breathe. Find that comfortable breath. Right elbow pulls in, left arm comes over. Take a look at that left palm. Right arm stretches out to find about 4 to 5 inches between the palms. Pull the elbow back in. We'll do that again. Reach and pull it back in. Reach and we'll hold. And return to warrior two. Straighten the right leg. And finding triangle. Ribs turn. Left fingertips up. And then we'll take left hand over, reach. Turn to look at the palm of the hand. Right hand reaches. And then drifts back to the floor. Let's do that again. Reach, breathe, and back to the floor. One more time, reach. This time, interlace your fingers, turn your hands inside out. Push through the palms, squeeze into that left foot, lengthen through the whole body. Keep that sense of length going, turn the palms back towards each other. Just maybe 3 inches between the two. Release. And we'll go ahead and come all the way up. Warrior two, again, just sink down. Turn into high lunge. All the weight shifts to the right foot. And whoops, we step up. Taking a big reach, you can reach through your fingertips or, again, find those Joshua Tree arms. I'm going to step back this time with my back to you. Stepping back, warrior two. Wiggle your feet, find that good stance. Breathe. Good strong back here, arms open to a T. And then elbow comes in, right arm comes to the ear. And then go ahead and reach. Left hand, exhale, pull it back. Reach, breathe, and pull it back. Do that again. Reach, palms turn to each other like you're holding like a softball. And we'll return to warrior two. Straightening the left leg and letting yourself find your way into triangle pose. Ribs rotate. So we haven't turned the chest and just pulled the shoulder. The ribs are what rotate, shoulders at ease. Arm draws to the ear and breathe, palms towards each other. Release that left hand. Again, reach and float down. Reach, this time interlace the fingers, turn the hands, press through, squeeze into that right foot. Keep breathing, keep rotating the ribs, turn the palms back towards each other. Reach, squeeze into that right hand, and then release. Finding warrior two once again. We'll turn into high lunge and step forward. All the weight goes to the left foot and step forward. Feet come by alongside each other, taking a big reach up or those goalpost arms. One more breath. And letting go of your arms. We'll take a little wider step now, letting the feet come about mat distance. Sliding your hands down and over your knees. Hand to elbow when you finally get as far as you want to go. And let's just hang here, releasing some of the muscles in the back from those strength poses. Big deep breaths into the back. And letting your hands come down to the floor. Take your time to step back. Finding your tabletop. And once we get there, pause for a moment and sink back and down into your child's pose. Let's go ahead and come back up into table. And letting your feet come behind you. Nice long back. And finding your way into plank pose, either on the knees or on the balls of the feet. I'm going to make sure we've got a little lift into that belly button so we're not sagging through. Now just making sure the middle finger's straight ahead, and we'll draw left knee to the outside of the left elbow and hold. Take that left knee center and hold, trying to keep the shin, the knee, the foot off the ground the best that you can. Left knee to right elbow and hold. Arms are straight, so if you're bending that left elbow, press the arms straight. There's a big twist in the body here. Left knee aiming for that right elbow. And we'll bring that left knee back center and hold. Left knee, left elbow, and hold. Sending that left knee back, left foot. If your knees aren't on the ground, go ahead and take them there, and we'll sit back into child's pose. Couple of good deep breaths in the back. If you want to, you can let the knees open apart a little bit, give your belly and chest a little more room. And we'll go ahead and come up. Coming up onto your shins. We'll take the arms overhead, looking for a big stretch here. Push through the palms of the hands, getting the body nice and long again. And then releasing, finding our way back into that table. And then to plank, either on the knees or balls of the feet. Belly lifts a little bit into the spine, up the ribs. And then right knee to the right elbow and hold. Arms are straight. And then right knee center. Shin, toes, knees off the ground if you can. And then right knee, left elbow. So there's a twist here, but the arms are straight, so don't let that right arm bend. Both arms are straight and long. Unlock the jaw and keep breathing. Center. Right knee, right elbow, hold, both arms are long. Extend down the mat. And knees to ground if they're not there. And sink back, child's pose. You can open the knees apart if you'd like to. Big deep breaths down the back. Nice and controlled. And we'll rise up, this time on forearms. Bringing the palms together. And just letting yourself move the hips a little bit through a cat and cow. Trying to keep the shoulders relatively steady. So it's really just in the pelvis. Little exhale as you tip the tailbone to the floor, and a little inhale as you lift. And then releasing, simple neutral. And walk the elbows a little bit forward. So now we're kind of stretched out a little bit. My elbows are forward in my shoulders, my knees are behind my hips. And without letting my elbows move, I'll let myself, my chest sink down towards the floor. Again, deep breaths into the back, the chest, around the waist, into the shoulders. Keeping the tops of the feet strong to the floor. One more breath. And then letting yourself just slide all the way back into child's pose. All right, so let's go ahead and come forward. If you had that blanket, go ahead and grab it again. And turning around onto your seat bones. And bringing the forearms to the floor, legs down the mat. Just getting that little chest lift here. You can keep your eyes on your toes to the ceiling or behind you. As you exhale, let the chin drop to chest. We'll do that again. Breathing in, lift the chest, palms of the hands to the floor. Exhale, chin to chest. One more time. Inhale, lift the chest. We'll stay there, an extra breath. Chin to chest, and sliding your feet up towards you. And let yourself just roll down to the ground. Snuggling shoulder blades back underneath you. Walking your feet a little bit closer towards you. And drawing knees into the chest. As you inhale, take feet up and arms overhead. And exhale, really slowing that down. Inhaling up. Exhale, really slowing it down. Again, breathing up. And exhale. This time we'll inhale the legs apart. And exhale them back together. Inhale apart. Exhale. One more time. Inhale apart. Exhale back together. And this time up and down the back. Inhale, knees move away. Exhale, hands move to knees. So just giving that up and down the back massage. Inhale, knees move away, giving yourself space here in the belly. Exhale, knees help to squeeze the air out of you. Next time you're about halfway in that release, just get a little rock from side to side, just a little bit, just so you can kind of feel one side of the back and then the other. Still breathing, nice and easy. Unlocking the jaw. And then returning to center, just give a little squeeze in and release feet to floor, maybe one foot at a time or both. Reestablishing your posture, head is on the blanket, shoulders are on the mat. And let your arms release to the ground if you'd like to. We'll take a deep breath in, and just letting it out through the nose. Then another deep breath in, letting it out through the mouth. And then just letting yourself breathe. Being just conscious of any place your body moves when you breathe. You Maybe anywhere between the hips and the crown of the head. You may be surprised how far down the legs or into the arms you can even feel the way you move and you breathe. The tighter we are, the more difficult it is, so we're inviting the body to release. So we can truly just feel where the breath moves us every time you breathe in, and every time you breathe out. See if you're holding your back or your upper body rigid here, just letting it sag to the ground. We're not looking for any particular way to move when we breathe right now. We're just inviting the breath to do all the movement. And whatever moves is just fine. Learning to be content with just sensation of breath right now. And as you feel ready, letting your legs go down the mat. Looking for a progressive muscle relaxation. If you'd like to, you could start at your feet or at your head. Always making sure that the jaw is unclenching and the tongue is releasing the roof of the mouth. Inviting muscles of expression in the face to let down. And we're consciously not directing the breath in any way. We're choosing to let the breath just move you, however it wants to. Letting yourself rest here 6 to 10 minutes, however long you feel you need.